Hi everyone, welcome inside the State Champs studio for another edition of State Champs at the state finals for the 2021-22 school year. I'm Lauren Plant, joined by my Michigan Extra Point co-host Scott Bernstein, and we're recapping the 2021 MHSAA 11-player football state finals. Now before we get started, shout out to Lawrence Technological University for making this show possible. Over 24 sports and incredible degree programs offered at Lawrence Tech, including a great football program. The coaches want you to recruit yourself. Just head over to ltuathletics.com, click on the Recruit Yourself link, fill out the simple form, and a coach will reach out to you within 48 hours. And I just have to say, between Twitter and Instagram, over 325,000 views as of right now of all the clips and content we posted during the state finals. We thank all of you for your support. Scott, those views alone prove that there was just tremendous interest and engagement in this year's state championships at Ford Field.
Just a phenomenal slate of games. You know, the best players came out, played their best football at the time that you need them to play their best football.
That's right, and a great crowd at Ford Field. It felt really like state finals.
Yeah, unlike last year where it was an empty Ford Field. So we were right back to our pre-pandemic ways. So much passion, so much emotion. It was great.
So let's begin with the first game on the slate, the Division 8 state championship between Hudson and Beal City. Defense was the difference as Hudson finished off a perfect campaign, giving up only 99 points all season. The Tigers win their second title in school history, beating Beal City 14-7.
Yeah, that Hudson defense, I know it was Division 8, but that's got to go into the annals of MHSAA prep football as one of the best defenses that this state's ever seen. I mean, definitely on the small school level, it could say maybe the best defense, one of the best defenses that the small school level's ever seen. You know, I think they average giving up 100 yards a game, less than a touchdown.
We moved to the Division II state championship that saw Traverse City Central take on Warren De La Salle. After losing to Brady Rose and Muskegon Mona Shores last January, De La Salle was on a mission all season. The Pirates' fourth state championship arguably fielded their best team to date. Quarterback Brady Drogosh and company capped off an undefeated season, cruising to a 41-14 victory over Traverse City Central, a team that was equally on fire coming in.
Yeah, when we talk about Brady Drogosh, we got to talk about one of the premier, you could call him a dual threat quarterback now. This guy runs just as well as he passes, even though I think at the college level he's looked at as more of a drop back passing prodigy. But this kid is killing teams with his legs the second half of this season, is a guy that has really emerged as a top college recruit. He showed it on the biggest stage this past weekend. He looked so good. That offensive line just giving him clean pockets. He's threading needles, finding tight windows, dropping those sugar dimes all over the field. Shout out to Coach Dan Roan and what he's been able to do coming over from the west side of the state, continuing that great pilot tradition of success on the football field.
Division 6 saw the first charter school appearance in the finals as Warren Michigan Collegiate faced Lansing Catholic. The Cougars of Lansing Catholic did it with defense with 4 interceptions and a fumble recovery as they defeated Collegiate 16-6 for their second title in 3 seasons.
Yeah, just a seamless transition from the legendary Jim Ahern to Jim Baker, who took over this year. Ahern, put the blueprint together for this Lansing Catholic football team. They won a state championship 2 years ago. And then Jim Baker takes over this year. His son, Joey Baker, just a miraculous quarterback, just, checks all the boxes, has so much swagger, so much moxie in there. For me, he was I've been touting him as the best small school quarterback in the state, a guy that's going to be a steal at the next level. And
Collegiate getting another step, we'll see if they can get that.
And Dion Blank, I've been talking about him a lot, the quarterback for Warren Michigan Collegiate. Looked really good at the end of that game, rallied them back. Another guy that I could see, big upside for at the next level. He's 6'4", he's athletic, he's got a good arm.
All right, the Friday nightcap will go into the history books as one of the most incredible football finals ever. Chelsea and Hudsonville Unity Christian, the combatants, a record 107 total points scored in this one, with Chelsea scoring a record 28-point comeback over the final 23 minutes. A 33-yard walk-off field goal by Hunter Shaw gave undefeated Chelsea their first state title. Final score, 55-52.
Best game I've ever seen in a state championship. I was blown away by what I was watching there in the final, let's say, 45 minutes, half hour of that matchup. I had kind of, like everybody, had chalked up the victory for the guys from the west side. And all of a sudden the guys from the Ann Arbor area start coming back. Those Bulldogs really lived up to the name. Cool Hand Luke Dunn, feeding hot hand Luke Hannafan, 5 touchdown connections between those two. And these guys, just the determination, the resilience, the fact that you could even, get yourself to the point where you think you could come back from a 45-17 deficit in the second half. Just, the intestinal fortitude of that Chelsea group. They'll be remembered forever. This is something that will be talked about for decades.
Saturday started off in Division 7 with Pewamo, Westphalia, and Lawton going at it. The Pewamo Pirates grabbing their 4th state championship in 6 seasons. Its 3rd undefeated season over those 6 seasons. They beat the first-time finalist Lawton 14-10.
Yeah, you want to talk about resiliency. This PW squad, again, the gold standard for small school football in this state. They are just, championship caliber, top to bottom. They've been dealing with injuries all season long, just have leaped hurdle after hurdle to get to Ford Field and then to finally lock down another title. Just PW does what they do, which is roll on to Ford Field, roll over their opponents, and then roll back to PW with a state championship trophy. And
the Division I state championship saw Belleville and Rochester Adams square off. After 4 straight semifinals appearances, the Belleville Tigers finally got to Ford Field, made the most of it, defeating undefeated Adams 55-33. Their offensive firepower on full display, a game that saw senior Jeremiah Caldwell come within a point of tying the record for most scored in a title tilt. And they did it with a freshman quarterback, Bryce Underwood, who is just 14 years old.
Yeah, Bryce Underwood, as advertised, the most celebrated quarterback to come out of this area since maybe Dante Moore, who's 2 years older than him. But Bryce Underwood, I see so many spectacular things in the future for him. Has got such a solid head on his shoulders. But after the game, Bryce went and grabbed, he did that Detroit signature. He went and grabbed some buffs, some Cartier buffs, put them on for the interview. He's got that swag.
Yeah, and nobody would have said at the beginning of the year that Rochester Adams was going to be a state title contender.
No, and
yet they just rolled through.
And they went, blow for blow with Belleville into the second half. It was just a question, really, of the size factor. Being the fact that Belleville brought 60, 70 kids to the game. Adams brought 40 kids to the game. Adams plays Ironman football where most of their kids are going both ways. They got a lot of guys coming back next year. Parker Pico, Tate Pico. The Pico brothers are just fantastic. Yeah. And then for Adams, it should be mentioned that their best defensive player, Alex DeGreek, the heart and soul of that defense, 18 sacks this year, about 75 tackles. He's going to Harvard. He went out in the first quarter, and that just took a lot of wind out of the sails of the Highlanders on defense. Without DeGreek calling signals, wreaking havoc, collapsing pockets, it made it much easier for Bryce Underwood to pick them.
Perennial power Grand Rapids Catholic Central went up against Marine City in the Division 5 championship. GRCC continued their modern legacy with their 5th title in 6 seasons between Division 4 and Division 5. Despite the loss of star quarterback Joey Silveri in Week 4, converted receiver John Passanel stepped in, and the Cougars didn't miss a beat. He threw for over 2,300 yards, 37 TDs on the year. Nolan Ziegler, an absolute stud on both sides of the ball. Grand Rapids Catholic Central wins 31-7.
I think the theme of the 2021 football final should be resiliency. So many of these teams got to the mountaintop by being resilient.
Next man up.
By having faith in their system, by everyone buying in and primetime performers performing in the most important times on the football field. Johnny passing out, man. What a job stepping in for Joey Silveri. You know, he was a receiver last year and was a pretty major part of their offense. You know, slips under center, and I think it was at week 4. Yeah. And ends up throwing for 2,500 yards. So then Ziegler, who is the all everything safety linebacker combo going to Notre Dame, last year made a name, in between the sophomore and junior year, made a real name for himself on the defensive side of the ball. And then last season had an outstanding campaign. Saw a little bit of action at receiver last year. This year emerges as the #1 receiver for that team. Catches 2 touchdowns in the state finals. You know, a guy that was a finalist in our Anvil Award race. Could have easily been a Mr. Football Award candidate as well. Again, another guy that was just the heart and soul of that football team. Johnny Football, shout out to you, man. Great job stepping in for your boy Joey Football, and great job by that GRCC program for just continuing to be the class of Division 5.
The final game of the football season, perhaps the most anticipated. Division 3 had the defending state champ DeWitt taking on Detroit King. This one lived up to the billing. The top 2 quarterbacks in the state, DeWitt's Ty Holtz and Detroit King's Dante Moore, battled to the end as the King Crusaders, led by their 5-star junior quarterback Dante Moore, defeated DeWitt 25-21 for their 4th state title in 7 years.
Yeah, and we knew that the quarterbacks were gonna come to play. We knew that in some ways they might even cancel each other out. So you were going to need a big play on the defensive side of the ball from one of those programs to be the deciding factor. Kenny Merriweather, Detroit King, converted wide receiver. He's a defensive end now. Takes the ball, goes all the way to the house for a big defensive touchdown for those King Crusaders, and that ended up really being the difference in that game. Lots of great receivers on the field. For King, you had Chancey Willis, you had Lynn Weichel, you had Joe Williams, and then for DeWitt, you had Tommy McIntosh. So a lot of playmakers, lived up to the billing. Both Ty Holtz and Dante Moore, have state championships now. Yeah. Have state, so they got rings. Yeah. Ty couldn't get his second one. Dante will have his chance to get a second one next year, but you couldn't have scripted it any better to have the 2 best quarterbacks in the state going head-to-head. Clash of the Titans.
Congratulations to all of our state champions. If you want to see extra clips and interviews from all the state finals, head over to any of our State Champs Michigan social media channels. Simply search State Champs Michigan, or you can download and stream the free State Champs Network app to catch all the shows. You can even watch this program on your television if you have the Amazon Fire Stick or a Roku-enabled TV. For Scott Bernstein, I'm Lauren Plant. Thanks for watching this edition of State Champs at the State Final. State Champs is presented by Lawrence Technological University. LTU offers over 24 varsity sports for men and women, along with several dozen world-class undergraduate programs. Athletic and academic scholarships are available in all sports. Visit LTUathletics.com and recruit yourself. Also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, a proud partner of the MHSAA. Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor. EA Graphics, get your official MHSAA championship merchandise at shopmhsaa.com.